We've got Fnatic versus DRX, the rematch of the first round of playoffs coming up. And this match is going to decide who's going to join NRG in the grand finals. So before we head into the map veto for this match, I just want to quickly talk about Fnatic versus NRG. And because I feel like I'm really worried about Fnatic's map pool, right? They picked Ascent, which has been a map that has not looked great for Fnatic all year long, so I don't quite understand why they would pick that map versus NRG, right? So yeah, it makes me really worried as to why they think like that Ascent is one of their best maps. And yeah, they still lost in overtime on that map against NRG, who also aren't like the best Ascent team. So that makes me worried. Plus, Fnatic didn't look as good on Abyss as I thought they would. So yeah, I'm really worried about Fnatic's map pool, and I think their map pool is the reason why they lost to NRG. But yeah, without further ado, let's now head into Fnatic versus DRX, right? Which, as I said, is a rematch. We've seen this match before. And yeah, let's take a look at the map veto. And yeah, for the map bans first up, I think I mean, both of these teams have been perma-banning Sunset, right? Like all three of the remaining teams, Fnatic, DRX, and NRG, have all been perma-banning Sunset, so that kind of makes it interesting. But for this match, since it's a rematch, we have a bit more what we can go off of. And DRX did ban Sunset the last time these two teams met, and Fnatic didn't and banned Abyss instead. Plus, Fnatic showed versus NRG as well that they are willing to float Sunset for a bit. Now, obviously, Fnatic banned it in the second rotation of bans versus NRG, but they showed that they are willing to float it at least a bit. And then for DRX, they floated that map versus MIBR, and then got destroyed by MIBR on that map on DRX's attack half, right? They looked horrible, they looked without like a real plan. So because of that, I think Fnatic should be willing to leave Sunset in and should be looking to ban Abyss like they did last time these two teams have met, because Abyss is DRX's best map and Fnatic just got destroyed by NRG on Abyss as well. So yeah, I don't see Fnatic being eager to play Abyss. So yeah, that's why I have Fnatic banning Abyss. And then for DRX, I still think that they should be looking to ban Sunset. I don't think they will want to play it again after they lost versus MIBR on that map. Plus, I don't think they need to throw in the curveball of playing Sunset, since I would say they're overall favorites over Fnatic in terms of the map pool. So they should play it safe and get rid of Sunset, where we don't know how much prep Fnatic maybe has compared to DRX on that map. The only other map that I could see DRX realistically wanting to ban versus Fnatic is Corrode, because they did so versus MIBR as well, right? The only time they haven't banned Sunset, they banned Corrode. Plus, it's probably their second worst map um, after Sunset, so that's why I think they might get rid of Corrode as well. But yeah, I think they should choose to ban Sunset over Corrode. And then for Fnatic's first pick, I think they're choosing to pick Lotus, because last time these two teams met, Fnatic won on on Lotus versus DRX, and they looked like clearly the better team. They won easily on that map. DRX didn't look great back then, and since then, in their last match today versus Paper X, DRX did change their comp. So it's not that clearly a map that Fnatic would win, but I still think they would have the most confidence on that map versus DRX. Uh, yeah, since they just um, since in the beginning of playoffs they beat DRX on that map. Plus, it's probably Fnatic's best map. So yeah, I think it's in their interest to pick Lotus and have a nice start on Lotus into the series. And for DRX, the trend kind of continues. I think they would choose to pick Ascent because they won versus Fnatic the last time these two teams met. Plus, in their last two matches, they picked Ascent both times, won twice in overtime, but still won, right? Plus, yeah, as I said, they beat Fnatic on that map. Plus, Fnatic didn't look good on that map versus NRG at all, so I think DRX should feel good picking Ascent. Then for Fnatic's second map pick, I've gone with Haven, since they picked that map once before. They're also 3-0 at champs on Haven. And yeah, they did beat DRX the last time these two met, but to be fair, DRX looked like the better team on Haven, and DRX looked like they have a better grasp on Haven. But yeah, it should be a really close map, and yeah, I'm just gonna favor Fnatic slightly here, even though DRX might realistically win it. I think it's pretty much a 50-50 map. But yeah, I've gone with Fnatic this time around because maybe the mental comes in or something. And also because if I don't, I think it's a bit too one-sided for DRX. And I think we're gonna get a close match between these two. And then for DRX between Bind and Corrode, I think DRX like Corrode less than Bind, right? I've talked about them potentially banning Corrode. And so because of that, I think they're gonna pick Bind. They're also 2-0 on Bind, while Fnatic are 0-2 on Bind at champs, right? DRX are 2-0 and Fnatic 0-2. And yeah, because of that, I think they're probably favoring Bind over Corrode as their map pick. And even though they let Corrode float versus Paper Rex instead of Bind, I think it's just purely based on Paper Rex being better on Bind than they are on Corrode. So I think DRX thought they would have a better shot on Corrode versus Paper Rex than they would be having on Bind, and Fnatic didn't look as great on Bind, so DRX are probably more confident with picking Bind, and I do see them as favorites on that map. And then for the last map, it's gonna be Corrode, and it's a map that Fnatic has not played yet, so because of that, I just have to favor DRX, who are 1-1 on that map at Champions. They won versus Team Liquid and lost in a close match versus NRG. They lost 13-11 on that map. But I think versus NRG, that's a really respectable loss, since NRG generally looked like the best Kuro team. So because of that, I'm favoring DRX over Fnatic, which would leave it at a 3-2 versus for DRX versus Fnatic. Now, as I've said, especially with Haven, I could realistically see it being a 3-1 for DRX. And yeah, I think these are the two most realistic outcomes that we're gonna have. DRX either winning 3-2 or 3-1, because their map pool just looks way better than Fnatic's, and Fnatic's map pool looks really worrying. Plus, DRX look kind of like the better team the last time these two teams met. So yeah. So yeah, with all that being said, I still hope it's gonna be a close match, and I hope we see both of these teams playing to their potential. Especially with Fnatic, I think they looked a bit rough on against NRG, and I hope we're gonna see Prime Fnatic again. Then it should be a banger map, a banger match, and yeah, I hope it's gonna deliver. And I'll see you guys next time tomorrow for the last time. when we're looking at the grand final match. So till then.